Howdy everybody, welcome to my couch. So today we are going to be talking about the EP that I've been working on, and specifically recording your own music with only an iPhone. And with this one we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna do some video editing, which I've never done before, and some screen recording, which I've also never done before. So this might be just unwatchable. You never know. We'll find out together. So I originally thought that I was gonna play around with the iPhone microphone a little bit and a couple different apps that were free, and I was probably gonna end up getting a paid app and using the paid app and an audio interface, probably Tascam. I'm old, I still like Tascam. Tascam is awesome, but they make a USB interface and get a nice microphone and go with all of that. Turns out I'm now 4 tracks in, and all I have used is the iPhone and free apps. And actually the free app that I was absolutely least excited to use, because it comes with its own band social media let's make collaborations thing, which I was not into, but turns out the app is awesome. So I'm gonna talk about the different things that I tried and all of that on the screen recording. I'm gonna show you why I didn't like the ones that I liked, with the exception of GarageBand. The reason why I didn't do anything with GarageBand is, one, everybody knows GarageBand. GarageBand is a very decent recording thing. But 2, I can't figure out how to exit it. So every time I open it, if I need to exit it for any reason, I have to turn off my phone screen and then open it back up. And I don't know how that would work out with screen recording and doing video, because like I said, this is the first time I've ever done it. So I'm just not gonna open GarageBand at all, but that's why I didn't use it. I figured if something was even slightly inconvenient for this, it might be a deal breaker and would be worth just buying the software. But I found one that nothing is inconvenient on, and so we'll talk about that one. Oh, and for the record, my channel is not monetized yet. I might do that in the future if it seems like it's worth it, because, you know, multiple streams of income is always cool, but my channel is not monetized. I do this for fun. I have no sponsors. I like playing my banjo and singing some weird songs, and I like recording these videos. And so since this was something that I was going to be doing anyway, I figured I'd combine the two. But nothing that I'm going to show you is sponsored, and nothing that I'm going to show you is anything other than my own personal opinions. And as per usual, if you don't agree with me, then don't listen to me. It's your damn banjo, it's your damn album. Play it and record it however you want. So without further ado, now we're gonna move into the screen recording thing, and maybe that'll actually work. Hi everybody, welcome to my phone. So the recording app, first we're gonna talk about this one, the Spire, and I have to apologize, as soon as I open this my voice is gonna go all wonky, but I haven't yet learned how to screen record and then not have audio attached to it unless I'm using the camera or the phone microphone, and then come back to edit in the audio afterwards. We'll get there. This is my first screen recorded video, so just go with it. So here we have the Spire, and again I apologize for my voice being all wonky. Now it is built around this, a audio interface that automatically levels for you and does, honestly, it's kind of a neat looking thing. It's got supposedly a built-in microphone that's incredible. You can plug 2 inputs into it, so you can run its mic and 2 other inputs, so you could run your guitar DI and do vocals if that's the kind of thing that you're into, or just whatever, and come up with all sorts of super cool things. Personally, I'd like to use that for stereo miking, but, you know, to each their own on what they use it for. Now, I did not buy this. It's like $250. I just downloaded the free app. And the first thing that I want to go over here is over in the settings. You'll notice I can keep the phone awake. I can use the phone mic instead of the headphone mic, which is actually a setting that I really like, that is really useful, because singing, if I put the headphones in or connect Bluetooth headphones, the other recording software that I ended up using, it always wanted to change over to the headphone mic, which is not as good as the actual microphone on the phone. But then those are the only options it has. You'll notice it doesn't have a help section. And that was so annoying to me that I actually emailed them. And they did end up getting back to me, but we'll go more into that in detail here. And this, so you can delete or mute the track. We're going to create, this is the track that I had here. We're going to create a brand new track. And we're going to come over here and we're going to hit the sound check button. And so you start playing and it sets your levels. And then after a moment it says keep playing and it'll sculpt your sound. And what it's doing here is an automatic equalization that it finds is best for your sound based on its machine learning algorithm. And strangely, it actually sounds really good. I'm going to play a bit of the banjo track that I did that I admittedly messed up on a whole bunch, but I was just trying out the software, so I don't care. But yeah, so it got solid times, or solid highs, good lows, good mids. It didn't like scoop the mids or do anything like that. That was weird. And right now the monitoring is on because technically I'm recording into the microphone and it's playing out. I think if I turn that off, it'll become less wonky, and then only you will be able to hear the stuff. Yeah, I'm guessing that's what happened just now. All right, so coming over to tempo. All right, here we have a metronome. We have our standard tap. We're going to just tap fast as can be, which means we can go up to 200 beats per minute. That's not fast by any sense of the imagination. You know, if you're making a gore grind project, it might not work for you, but, you know, I keep it around like 145 at the highest and like 120, 100-ish at the lowest. I think the song that we had there was somewhere around da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, somewhere around 120, 117 based on my taps. But so you turn this on, you come over here, and then we're in our new track. This is this track that we just created, and our metronome is still running because we have to turn it on beforehand, and then we hit record. And that's the only way to get a count in, and the only way to have the metronome going during your track. So that's the only way to get a click track, is to turn it on beforehand, come over to the record and change it. But you notice you can very easily change the time signatures. Ta-da! Now we did a 3/4 time signature. And then this button will allow you to enhance it and email it to people, etc., do all that fun stuff with it. This button here just takes you back out. And this mix button, this is your mastering, if you want to call this mastering. And literally all it is adjust your levels and how left or right this is. And usually I like, for acoustic instruments, to record it in stereo and put it a little left and a little right, one of each track, because I'll capture slightly different sounds with each microphone. But obviously I couldn't do that here. So we're going to exit this app now, and we're going to come over. Like I said, we're not using GarageBand at all. We're going to use this other one, BandLab. And we're currently in a project that I was working on right now We're going to exit that project, and we're going to come back, and I'm going to start at the home page. So here you can put anybody on, you can follow users to update your feed, whatnot. You can have conversations, you can add friends, you can take photos. Over here you have all of your stuff, collections, communities, promos, artists wanted, etc. If you're into all that, let's click on the folk section and see what there is. We've got top stories, which, hey, pulls up a news page, and popular, which pulls up, oh, hey, some tracks. Then over here you have like notifications, and then over here you have your projects, and they can be broken down into collections, albums, bands, or communities. I'm just doing the projects. So we're going to pick that exact same song that we were just looking at, which is called Old Crows in Reality. Sonoran Breakdown is a different song. But so this way you'll be able to hear it. So all I've got on here is my banjo track, and at the moment I have it equalized. So let's come down over here and we'll go to none, and then we'll come back over here, and this is my raw banjo track. And it's not bad. The microphone is usable. It is a great start. If this is what you got, this is what you got. But as I come over here into my effects, I have already put everything that I wanted on there. I'm going to turn everything off real quick. And I'm going to show you some plugins. So we've got our noise gate, we've got our compressor. I always start with those. We've got the equalizer. I've got the equalizer I put a little bit of spring on it. You can put some delay on it. You can put other compressors on it. They have all these plugin options. Delays, distortions, there's several distortions. If I wanted to throw a tube screamer on my banjo, I could. Dynamic saw compressors, modulation, and auto chorus, modulators, phasers, and vibratos. We've got 3 options for reverb, 2 options for equalizers and filter, and then a feedback killer and a gain. So if it wasn't loud enough, I could make it louder. But I think that is probably plenty loud for you. But yeah, and then it's also got all of these presets. And personally, I don't like any of these presets, but they make for good starts. And so as you can see, I've built one for my vocals that's like a basic set of this is what I need to do my vocals, and I built one for my banjo that's a basic set. And obviously you have to edit for each take, but that's not important. I'm going to hit the discard because this video is not about mastering or editing or anything like that. It's strictly about the software, or the apps, I guess, are what they're called now. And I found this one to be absolutely intuitive, very simple, very easy. This big red plus button allows me to choose. I can do MIDI instruments, I can do a loop. That's one built specifically for guitar, specifically for bass. And I could import a track. So if I wanted to record it in Spire so that it pre-levels for me so I don't have to do anything, and then export it as an MP3 onto my phone and then put it in here, I could. And, I don't know why they made one for bass, because most bands just, mix that out. That's not true. Bass is useful, unless you are playing folk, in which case, particularly with old-time folk, most of them didn't have one. It was kind of hard to get an upright out in the fields. And then they have all this other nonsense that I haven't played with. One thing that they do have is they do have a tuner, and, it's got different options for different tunings, and then it's got a general chromatic tuner, which, if you've been following my videos, you know how I feel about chromatic tuners. They're the way to go. So, that is BandLab. And, again, it's called BandLab. It's on the App Store for free. And I don't know why I'm pointing at my phone like you can see it.
Howdy, everybody.
welcome back to my couch. I'm glad you didn't get lost. I have a few final thoughts. So, Spire EQs phenomenally well. Like, I thought when I was just recording tests and just like running through Cripple Creek and whatnot, that it was going to be excellent and it was going to be my go-to and it was going to be what I used, and that this album was going to take me like 2 days, just record everything and just take after take until I got a perfect take, or a good enough take, because let's face it, it's folk music and it's a debut EP and whatnot. Like, I'm okay with it being a little dirty, but till I got a usable take, and then do the same with the vocals, throw some stomp on it, maybe some harmonica, and then I'd be like at the point by the end of the weekend that I could call up some friends and be like, hey, I need some bass. Like, come here, bring your bass over to my apartment, or like, I need some guitar or whatever. Can I borrow your guitar? And because I play guitar, but I don't play bass. But that was not the case. I could not, for the life of me, figure out how to turn on the metronome so that I would have a click track or a count in. To the point that I searched all through the app looking for a help section. I reset the in-app help twice and nothing popped up when I opened up the metronome. And so I emailed Spire and I asked them, like, hey, is there a help section? How do I turn on the click track? Can I do any of my own EQ? Are there any other plugins available for it or anything else? Can I multi-track? And somebody got back to me this afternoon. I emailed them this morning at like 10 o'clock and they got back to me by like 2 o'clock. Somebody named Mac. And he or she informed me that while there's not a help section in the app, there is a help section on their website, and it had a very useful article on metronomes. I didn't even think about Googling it because I was so annoyed by the fact that there wasn't a link to help in the app. Like, that seems like one of the first things you do. Like, you put the instructions in the box, then you put the stuff in the box. But, you know, maybe the instructions come in the box for the interface rather than in the box for the app. But they could go both places. There's no reason why there can't be just a link inside the app that takes me over to the website. And I told Mac as much, and Mac told me he's forwarding that to the development team. So maybe when I run into a problem with Spire, instead of it being literally unusable, I can just look it up on their website through the app, so that, you know, rather people who aren't determined enough to email, because if I download a free app and it's not super usable right away, it's not like it's worth keeping. Let's be honest here. I didn't make any investment into this. It's not like I owned the interface that cost $200 something and already had $250 into it, so made sure that I wanted to make that one work. And it was free. I can delete it off my phone at any time. If it's not the most usable thing in the world, it's gone. Which I haven't deleted it yet because I wanted to film the video, and now I'm not going to delete it because I'd like to see what they come out with. Mac told me they're forwarding the help team to the devs. They've got plugins going to be available, and that'll be interesting because, like I said, it did a great job at leveling my banjo. It does not do a great job at leveling my Muhan Vina, which I think has more to do with the fact that it's like, it in and of itself is kind of an obscure instrument. I know of 2 players off the top of my head. I know I've heard more, but I can only remember 2 names, and they're Vishwan Mohan Bhatt, which I might be mispronouncing, and I apologize if I am. But he invented it, and he wrote a Grammy-winning album called A Meeting by the River and plays it beautifully. And there's Harry Manx, who studied under Vishwan Bhatt and learned how to play the Muhan Vina from him, and wrote the album 20 Strings and the Truth, which also, on the Muhan Vina, absolutely gorgeous. But it tends to equalize out my resonant strings, which is a problem. Like, that's why I destroyed this guitar in order to make this instrument. like, was because I wanted those resonance strings. And then I have one other concern in regards to the Spire, and it is a legal concern. And that is that because they are doing all of my leveling for me, I don't know if they have any legal claims to my music. And I know how much it costs to talk to a lawyer. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to ask. And that's most likely in their end user licensing agreement. It has to be. However, I also know that end user licensing agreements aren't technically a legal binding agreement because so much information is presented in end user licensing agreements that it's impossible for us to even theoretically read all of it ever. So as a general rule of thumb, if they're like, well, you said you accepted the licensing agreement, are you saying you didn't read it? Yeah, I'm saying I didn't read it. And such is life. And they can't really, like, unless I violate my warranty or whatnot, like, it's not a binding contract. So I don't know where the legal parts stand because copyright is a goddamn nightmare. Aside from that, it did a great job at the leveling. Like, that thing that it advertised was baller. Everything else was basically unusable for the moment. Once I read some more help, maybe it'll be useful, but I gotta read some stuff. BandLab, very simple, right away. Didn't have to ask any questions. I hit the FX button going, oh, effects, cool. Which ones do they have available? Scroll through the presets, hit the little one that looked like a mixer. It took me to all the options. Realized I could remove or replace. Change my levels just like I would do on a pedal board. Got it. I know this technology. This is where in my world I've stared at pedal boards for a very long time. It's like, got it. I can look down at my feet and do this. Like, by muscle memory in some cases, though I'm not playing just terrible swing metal jazz guitar. My past music was not good. My current music isn't great, but my past music was not good by any sense of the imagination. Like, it just shouldn't have been made. Now, as for the legal aspects, that'll probably only matter to you if you make a whole bunch of money off your albums, which I'm probably never ever going to do. I will most likely sell 2 copies, maybe 3. One to my mother, the other 2 to my sisters, if they're feeling guilty. But, you know, other than that, I ain't ever got to worry about it. Y'all might. I hope y'all go and do wonderful things. I just do this for fun. So, that being said, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope that this was useful to you. If not, let me know. Comment down what you'd like to see. We'll do a video on mixing, mastering, all that stuff if I decide to. We'll maybe do a video on how to write and arrange or like compose songs. I don't know. Like, we'll see what the future holds for all of us. Until then, hammer on that like button, pluck that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.